Okay, so I hope y'all can see this now. Let's see. All right. So if we go into Hermeticism here, let's just start with the Hermetic text. So in ancient Egypt, one of the things that they studied was the Hermetic text. The Hermetic text gives us just a glimpse into the human mind as they described it in the interplay between the mind, soul, and the universal spirit. See, the connection between the human psyche and the cosmic consciousness has been a source of fascination for years. One of the central things to Hermeticism are the seven Hermetic universal laws, which are believed to govern the cosmos. One of the first principles is all is mind, and this is the principle of mentalism. So basically, what this means is that this law asserts that the universe is a mental creation. All is mind, all is consciousness. According to this principle, everything is a product of the universal mind and material world is a manifestation of our mental processes. That goes back to which side are we feeding? That goes back to the interconnectedness of us to everything. The next one is the principle of correspondence, which is as above, so below, as below, so above. This principle emphasizes the interconnectedness of all levels of existence. It suggests that patterns and phenomena in each realm mirror those in another, facilitating a holistic understanding of the universe. The next universal principle here, let me see if I can share this with you all because I know you guys probably want to write this down here. Let me see. I got you here. There you go. Principle as above, so below. Vibration. Yep, that's where we at with it. The law of vibration is one of the main ones that I love because everybody's saying about vibrating high and different things like that. But the thing is that everything vibrates. Everything vibrates at a certain rate or a certain motion. So the principle of vibration basically states that everything is in constant motion and vibrates. Energy and matter are essentially different states of vibration. Understanding and harnessing these vibrations can lead to a deeper comprehension of the universe. Then we have the principle of polarity, which goes back into that dual nature of reality. It basically shows that it's light and darkness, hot and cold, good and evil. Those are all examples of the cosmic order. Then you have the principle of rhythm. Now, the principle of rhythm, it basically says that this law of rhythm states that everything follows a natural cycle of rising and falling, creation and destruction. So that goes back to what we were saying earlier when we say with the spiritual awakening, you have a new set of beliefs, you have a new set of values, but while you're going through that, you have that time or that period where you have to let the old you die away. The old has to go away in order for the new to be there. So it's a pattern of rising and falling, of creation and destruction. You're destroying the old self to create a new. And a lot of us are on that current journey, and it's a constant up and down of evolution. And then we go into the principle of cause and effect. And that law basically states that every action has a corresponding reaction. And understanding the consequences of one's action and accepting the responsibilities for them is crucial with the intricate of the web of cause and effect. We do something, it's always going to be an effect after it. But being able to calculate that before we do it is where you really get that power. You harness that power to know what you should be doing next. And the next principle is the principle of gender. Now, this principle highlights the idea that We are, once again, male and female. It suggests within every being there exists masculine and feminine aspects contributing to creative forces at play in the universe. Now, that just goes into the teaching of Hermeticism. So if you want to look into that a little bit further, I think that's a good place to start, to get an even deeper understanding of how this universe operates. So as we continue here, we're going to continue on. So we've went over the spiritual awakening. We went into the Hermetic principles and the laws of the universe. Now we're going to continue on here. And I want to, before I get into thought forms, I want to give you a deeper understanding of the levels of existence that you're on. I want everyone to have an understanding, because in order to even understand these certain principles and these certain techniques, you got to understand the nature of being, or otherwise it'll just sound like a bunch of pseudoscience with without much potency to it. But this all here is the newest book. But I want to get to a specific point here that I had for you all, where I wanted to kind of go over. All right, so here we go. All right, so we're going into, so like I was saying before, you got to know the nature of your being. You got to know that you're an energetic being. You are an energetic life form. You have energy rolling through your body at all times. You are always vibrating, just like the universal principles have spoken upon. Now, when you know this, you begin to do what we would call mental alchemy. Now, let's talk about mental alchemy for a moment here. Now, mental alchemy, its aim is to transform one's inner world. It begins, so basically it begins with realizing how thoughts shape our soul paths, realizing how thought forms affect our soul path. Now, mental alchemy is an inner transformation of one's psyche and perspectives. It's a journey of reworking our soul. And the goal of mental alchemy is to uplift our spirits regardless of what's happening in our outer world. Because mental alchemy is about transmuting or changing what once hindered us into tools that strengthen our character. We call it the grand work. The grand work is often associated with the pursuit of your own inner transformation, self-realization, or the process of achieving spiritual enlightenment. The term is frequently linked to alchemy, occultism, and mystical practices, but in alchemy, the grand work refers to the magnum opus, a symbolic and spiritual journey that involves the transformation of the alchemist's inner self, and it encompasses various stages, including the purification of the soul, the dissolution of the ego, and the attainment of spiritual wholeness, or what they like to call enlightenment. Now, going into those three different stages, they have names. See, it's three different stages of mental alchemy. A lot of people may have heard of alchemy, but they hear it in the terms of turning iron to gold here. And that's what, or you're turning actual physical elements, changing them into something else. But this is about changing our minds into something more. So the first stage of mental alchemy, you might want to write this down here, but the first stage of mental alchemy is calcination, and that's self-awareness. You could picture this stage of mental alchemy as heating metals to strip away the impurities. To embark on mental alchemy, we must become self-aware, not just acknowledging, but truly comprehending our negative thought patterns, emotions, and behaviors, and have a deep exploration within which we can be one of the which can be one of the hardest stages, but this stage must happen to begin transforming from the old you to the new you. Many people in that stage right now. Any of you all in that stage at the moment? That's that first stage. That's that hardest stage too, I would say, because it's like, what is the point of all this? What am I doing all this work for? Is anything going to even change in my world? And yes, it is. It's going to be a lot that's going to change in your world. Through that, you get like it said in there. It said basically changing it from the impurities of the world is being removed from you. Let's go into the second stage. The second stage here is the dissolution. The dissolution. And just as metals undergo dissolution in alchemical processes, we are the alchemists of our minds. We can change our thinking once we begin to gain control over our minds. This stage is all about noticing when our outdated beliefs are affecting our current reality. This is that awareness. This is where it's like, no, if I keep thinking like this, I know exactly what's going to happen. This is knowing what a cause will end up being an effect in your life. This is that second stage, that dissolution. A lot of change comes with at this stage of mental alchemy, so it's wise not to be too attached. And in modern day, that would look like this. You have been working on yourself, but still don't see much change on the outside, or it may even seem worse. This space can be tough, but this is right before the true transformation. You can lose things at this point. You may lose a job, a spouse, or friendships. Sometimes it can feel like it is not working or you did something wrong. But at this point, there is room being made for you to change your reality. We have to make room for the new, releasing the attachments of the old and embracing the change. Then is birth, a spiritual rebirth. Now, one of the last stages of this is the stage where it all comes together, the concluding stage. This invites the integration of the newfound wisdom and spiritual insights into the fabric of your being. So you walk with this energy, you walk with this power. You are not just reading the knowledge, you're becoming the knowledge. You have purified your mind and spirit. You attain a state of equilibrium and harmony. And at this stage, this is where it all comes together. We gain clarity on our lives and then can see the full pictures of our lives. It's here that the alchemist within us achieves a balance of the golden qualities, then can use this newfound power in our day to day. So those are the stages of mental alchemy. If you got that there, if you want to write that down, we're going into basically it was the calcination. Go back up. Okay. It's the calcination, which is the self-awareness. Then we got the dissolution, which is the transformation, where you're changing from the negative to the positive, and about the experience of spiritual rebirth. And then we got coagulation, which is the integration of all the information together. One of the other ones, and I'm just going to talk about this briefly. I see time going fast on me here. I got to speed this up. So when we look into another one that you might want to look into is the Rosicrucians. That's another one that had a lot of studying into these different philosophies. These are some of their quotes. The mind is the great lever of all things. Human thought is the process by which humans ends are ultimately answered. The soul's journey is a symphony of experiences, weaving through realms known and unknown, seeking the harmonious resonance of enlightenment. In the depths of our minds lie the key to understanding the universe, the new oneself, is to know the cosmos. The soul is a timeless voyager navigating the celestial seas of existence. And this is one of the important ones right here that I love about the Rosicrucians, because they go into that building your reality through your thoughts. And they talk about the thoughts or the architects of reality that shape the mind. I mean, the mind is what shapes the world. The mind, when attuned to higher vibrations, unlocks the doorways to spiritual realms beyond the ordinary senses. That goes back into what we were talking about with the spiritual awakening, and you understand that you get a higher heightened sense. You may become empathetic with people. You may even get spiritual gifts with those things. And the higher and lower selves, that once again just goes into what we were saying earlier with the dual nature of reality. Now, so in order to, like I say before, in order to understand, when we going into the probably about 8:30, we're gonna go about 8:45, we're gonna go into the CIA Gateway project and those different things. But in order to even understand that, we have to know the electrical nature of our being. We have to know that we are electrical beings that exist on many realms other than just this physical realm that we can touch, feel, and see. We're much more than just the physical body. Now, you go into the so if you go into the electrical nature of our being, it gives you a more of a deeper understanding of why these things even work, such as having out of body experiences, such as having being able to pick up on people thoughts and things like that, because we're going to go into the thought vibrations and thought forms, and why you what we think is so strange may not be strange at all. And a lot of the old books are where a lot of the knowledge at, and I'm going to supply you all outside of this. I'm going to do a breakdown of this so you'll have something to study later. And I also have two books for you all. That's going to be some ebooks that I'm going to email everybody once this is done. These are two books that I'm about to go into in a minute. One is Thought Forms by Annette Bassinet. These books are old. I'm talking about this book was published in 1901, I believe it was. And another author that I read a lot about is William Walker Atkinson, and he talks about the human aura in thought forms. So that's going to be something that I'm going to give to you all, and I'm going to teach from that briefly as well, but everybody will get a PDF copy of that book. And when I say, they've changed the educational system so much. By 1920, that's when we went into a lot of the way that school is ran now, where you're no longer educating, you're trying to, make people into workers. And they took a lot of the information out. So now when we hear about the human aura, now when we hear about thought vibrations, now when we hear about remote viewing and astral projecting, we're acting like this is something new or this is something crazy. But this has been around for centuries. It was just kept underground or secret, and they were using it against us. But now we waking up. But to go into that though, yeah, we're gonna do it. I see y'all happy about those bullshit. I'm gonna give you everything we going over. So I'm gonna make sure you get your money's worth, even if I don't hit certain topics or certain things that you might be looking for. You'll have those two books to use. So let's go into the electrical nature of our being, like we were saying. In the depths of existence, there lies a profound connection between our physical bodies, the consciousness, and the vibrational energy that permeates the universe. The connection extends beyond the boundaries of ourselves, out to the very fabric of our planet Earth. In this key, once again, this book is about the different keys. So this is one of the keys to spiritual alignment that I've come with. Now, we're going into, now with this one, we're going to go into real quick, because I want you to have an understanding of your electrical nature of your body, your brain waves in the Earth's resonance field, in which will uncover the invisible world that they stopped talking about. See, our bodies are not just flesh and bone. We are energy. We are energy. At the heart of this energy is electricity pulsating through every cell, every nerve, every organ. Our nervous system is literally a web of neurons that constitutes our brain and spinal cord, serves as a conductor, orchestrating the flow of electrical signals that enable our bodily functions. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? The human resonance field, that's where we're going to start at, because that's something that we have to understand, that we are not just this body. Let's go into the human resonance field. See, the concept of the human resonance field encompasses the electromagnetic field generated by the human body. Like we say, we got electricity flowing through it. So when someone say they vibrating high, they literally mean that. They literally can do that. You literally can vibrate low or you can vibrate high. You are electrical. See, this field is generated by the electrical activity that's produced by our body cells, our tissues, and the organs. It's often associated with the idea that humans emit magnetic waves that can interact with the environment around them. Doesn't that make sense? Doesn't that make sense when you hear somebody's thoughts? When you thought you were going crazy, you thought you heard somebody thought, no, or you thought you felt somebody's energy, or you thought you felt the bad vibe. It's truth to that. The heart generates an electromagnetic field. We have a human resonance field around us, also known as the aura. And like I said, we're going to go into that William Walker Atkinson book that explains the aura in the different colors, as well as that thought form book that explains the different colors as well. So now we're going to go into the different aspects of the electromagnetic field that's around us in order to be able to understand how we even pop out our body or do remote viewing or anything of that nature, or how we're picking up on these other people's thoughts and different things. So so it's in three states. This is another part you might want to write down. We exist in three states: the physical, of course, the emotional, and then also the spiritual state. So three different states that we exist in. The emotional body, the physical body, and the spiritual body all are interconnected aspects that define us as a holistic being. Many people don't even realize they have that other side of themselves, so they never really work on that. But it's so necessary to have a holistic aspect of yourself. So when we begin with the emotional body, that's one part of us. So the emotional body is a component of our human resonance field that is specifically connected to a person's emotional state. That's why the emotions play such a major role in where we're vibrating at. Because the human resonance field, or our emotional body aspect of the human resonance field, is based off of our emotional state. So it's kind of like it's said to be kind of a template that holds information about a person's emotional experiences, and traumas throughout life. See, the emotional body is sensitive and responsive, often reflecting our inner state and affecting our relationships, our decision making, and our overall mental health. Through emotional intelligence, we can change our emotional body, and then we can release some of those past traumas that may have been holding us back, causing us to react in the same nature. So if you want to, get deeper into your emotional body, I would suggest getting more understanding of emotional intelligence. Now, with our physical body, see, the physical body is the tangible vessel that houses our existence in this material world. It's a avatar. It's our vehicle. We got to take care of this vehicle or it's going to go out on us. But it's not just about the physical. See, the physical form is about the muscles, the organs, the tissues, and the intricate systems of life. That's why a lot of times when people are sick, they are affected in these different areas, but it could be coming from something that they went through within their emotional body that has now became a physical manifestation in the form of disease or a form of mental health issues and different things like that. Now it's in the physical. We view the world through our five senses with the body. And many teachings, the body is the temple. That's why I was saying before, we must take care of it, because without our health, it makes it even harder to reprogram the mind. When our body is sick, it's usually the only thing that we can think about in our minds. But we have the ability, before we get to the point of it showing up as a physical manifestation, we have the ability to change our emotion and change our thoughts before it even gets to that point. Now, the next one is the spiritual body. So the spiritual body represents the essence of our being beyond the material and emotional aspects. Now, this is my favorite part, because now we're getting metaphysical. See, this is the metaphysical part of ourselves, one of the main components of soul work, of, inner work. Our spiritual body transcends the physical realm, and it transcends the physical realm. This goes past the physical realm. And in the CIA Gateway Project, we will see that they use an affirmation that lets you, to induce that certain trance state where you could feel as if you are more than that. You know you're more than that already without them saying it, but I'm just saying. So now, in ancient Egypt, the understanding of the human resonance field, and I'm saying ancient Egypt, Kemet, whatever you would like to call it, but I'm using them because they had profound knowledge so long ago. These are not new concepts that we're learning. They're just being resurfaced because of the cycle of the universe that we're in right now. Look into yuga cycles in consciousness and expanding it. But okay, so in ancient Egypt, the understanding of the human resonance field and the emotional body was closely tied to religious and spiritual beliefs. The Egyptians believed that the body was made up of certain different components: the Ka, which is life force, the Ba, which is the soul, and the Ankh, which is the spirit. These components were seen as interconnected to a person's well-being. And now that we have an understanding of how we're made up, you know what I mean? How we have different forms of ourselves that we exist in, different planes of existence: the spiritual body, the emotional body, and the physical body. Now let's go into the planes of existence, the different planes of existence. This will bring it together a little bit more. So the concept of different planes of existence. So we exist on the mental realm, the physical realm, and the spiritual realm. Now, with that being said, that gives us an idea that, hey, this ain't the only part of the world that's happening right now. It's more to this than just that basic level of existence. It's more to this. So let's go into those different planes of existence. See, the physical plane, of course, we already know about that. That's the realm of tangible, observable reality. It's the material world, everything we can see, touch, and measure. And scientific disciplines such as physics and chemistry explore the laws, explore the laws governing the physical plane. And a lot of times with what science has done, if you can't feel it in the physical or see it in the physical, it doesn't exist. But they are really, hindering our understanding of this reality by just looking at the physical. Like I say, you exist in many forms, and previous studies, with things like psychology and the ancient Egyptians, they studied, it was the study of the soul. They studied the astral realms and these different aspects of reality. Now, the mental plane, this is where the mental plane, emotional body, goes hand in hand. The mental plane relates to the realm of the thoughts, the emotions, and consciousness. Many philosophical traditions in the East often explore the nature of mind and consciousness and the physical aspects with the mental aspects of our existence. This could be seen in psychology, neuroscience, and other cognitive science to contribute to that. In the next plane of existence is the spiritual plane. And it's often associated with the aspects that go beyond, like we were saying before, the material and mental. See, the existence of the spiritual dimension often involving concepts as the soul, the higher consciousness, or transcending reality. And this is the plane that is often considered non-material, and it's explored through these practices such as meditation, prayer, and rituals. So now we got an understanding of the true nature of ourselves, the different existence that we exist on at one time. And it's another part that I love too about the near death experiences and just going into that a little bit more. I love listening to this is just outside here, but I love listening to the near death experiences because I feel like it shows us that aspect of ourselves. A lot of these stories that people have, and they're just average, everyday people, not scientific or anything. And they speak on being outside of their body. They speak on, feeling disconnected from the body when they were, pronounced dead and things like that. But that's something that gives me more of a deeper understanding of reality, listening to those uncut stories like that. And the earth also has a resonance field known as the Schumann's resonance field. And this is interesting, and this where it goes into the, different ways that you can go into these transcendental states, or be able to go to the spiritual realm and things like that, because it's all about a frequency or where your brainwave patterns are at. That's what we're going into next. So scientific research has shown that the human brain's dominant frequency, known as the alpha rhythm, is also around 7 to 8 hertz. The Schumann's resonance field, which is the Earth's resonance field, is measured at approximately 7.83 hertz. It shows the interconnectedness that we have to Earth. Now, the alpha rhythm, we're going to go into that. These convergence of frequencies suggest an inherent connection between our brain's electrical activity and the Earth's natural vibration. When our brain waves align with the Earth's frequency, a state of harmony and coherence emerges within us. This is why, like, meditation and these different things and these different states that we can go into, they bring us to a sense of interconnectedness to the universe, because our brainwave states are not moving as fast or in a conscious awareness. We're more so living in the unconscious or the subconscious when we participate in those different things. Now, I think I want to I want to take a step back here because I want everything to kind of go together here. So now, all right. So now that we know, well, hold on, one more part I want to hit you with. I'm going to go back to the brainwave states. We're going to go back to that when we go a little bit further here. Let's see. Okay. I appreciate you all once again being here with me tonight. And I'm going to so now that we've gotten past the different aspects of reality, I wanted to go a little bit further into thoughts and thought forms. Let's just go into it. I'm just going to go into it. Okay. All right. Here we go. Thoughts having power. There we go. That's what I was looking for. All right. So thoughts have powers. Thoughts have powers. We got to have a deeper understanding of our system of being. We now know that we are electrical beings that exist on many planes of existence. In this key, we learn about the vibrational nature of thoughts, reality, and the ethers. The concept of vibrational resonance fields suggests that individuals attract energies that resonate or align with their vibrations. In other words, similar energies are drawn together that are in harmonic resonance. And like we learned before, the law of vibration is the foundation principle in metaphysics that suggests everything in the universe is at a constant state of vibration. According to this, according to this principle, every particle, atom, subatomic particle are in constant motion and emit a vibrational frequency. This concept extends to our thoughts as well, suggesting, which I know, but suggesting that thoughts too are a form of energy that emit a vibrational frequency. According to many occult teachings and various authors who delve into metaphysical and spiritual concepts, Thought vibrations are subtle and energetic waves that emanate from our thoughts and consciousness. Thoughts have the power to influence and shape our experiences, both internally and externally. Both internally and externally. Positive and negative states or thought processes are said to create corresponding vibrations that attract similar energies in our lives. Now, let's go into just basically like contrary to the belief that thoughts exist solely in the confines of our brain, the law of vibration proposes that thoughts extend beyond and have an impact on our environment around us. This suggests that our thoughts are not isolated, but rather interact with the energetic field of the universe. When you keep a particular thought in your mind, you're essentially creating an influence on reality, generating vibrations. Just like the ripples, this is important, just like ripples spreading across the surface of the water after a stone is tossed in it, our thoughts can create ripple effects in our lives. This means that the energy emitted by our thoughts can influence our emotions, actions, and circumstances that we attract. Now, let's break that down a little bit further. I like this example I used in this. Just imagine, okay, so just imagine all day long we walking through thought energy all day. Although it may not seem like we are because it can't be felt. Just think about it like this. Right now, you may be using a Wi-Fi signal or a Bluetooth. We can't see it, but we know that energy is in the air. You are hearing my voice. My voice is giving vibrations and going into your ear, and then your mind is interpreting it based on the language that we speak. Now, we can't see these vibrations, but we know that they are there because we got service right now. You can hear me right now. Much like how we seamlessly transition from one Wi-Fi zone to another, our minds are constantly enveloped in a web of thought vibrations. Just as our devices connect to Wi-Fi signals, our thoughts similarly resonate with various frequencies, each carrying its unique energy. Just as we effortlessly switch between Wi-Fi networks, our minds can tune into different thought frequency, influencing our experiences and perceptions in this process. Just as different radio stations are paying at a certain time, but you have to put your dial on the right frequency. You have to put the dial on the right frequency in order to hear that. Now, the people we encounter throughout the day might emit different thought vibrations based on their emotions, their intentions, and their mental states. Our minds might involuntarily tune into these frequencies, especially when we don't know that they even exist. We are the mental architects of our lives. This goes into William Walker Atkinson thoughts or book. Mental archetype refers to the individual's capacity to shape your reality. The concept draws upon the idea that the mind is a powerful creative force that can mold and manifest reality in alignment with one's intentions and beliefs. Just as an architect designs a blueprint for a building, the mental architect designs the blueprint of their life experiences. Now, the notion of thoughts originating from the ethers is rooted in the belief that there exists a vast intangible realm of energy of substance referred to as the ether or the astral plane or the astral plane. The etheric realm is said to be a repository of all potential thoughts and ideas existing in a non-physical dimension beyond our usual sensory perceptions. From this perspective, thoughts are not solely generated by the brain, but are drawn from the universal field of potentiality, the ethers. We are always walking through the ethers. We are always exerting thoughts into the ethers. We are co-creators of our reality, and we have the ability to choose which thoughts we will feed into, which thoughts we will feed into. Now, when you go into thought forms, you realize now that thoughts are vibrations. So thoughts are energy. Thoughts get built up by emotion. Thoughts continue to grow the more life force energy and emotion we put towards it. So now that we have an understanding that we exist on many realms, we have an idea that we are picking up thoughts throughout the etheric field, the fields of the ethers, because thoughts are vibration. Thoughts are emitting from us based on our emotions and our thoughts that we think the most. Of course, it goes a lot further than that, but this is an intro to all of these subjects. So now that we know that, we can now understand thought forms. Understanding thought forms, how mental energy shapes our reality. Have you ever considered the concept of thought forms? See, they are essential to mental constructs that come to life from the energy generated by our thoughts and emotions. This suggests that our thoughts are more than just abstract ideas, but carry a tangible energy that can take shape in what we said before, the mental realm. As we focus our attention and invest emotional energy into certain concepts, these thought forms begin to take form and create a subtle, non-physical presence. However, the characteristics of thought forms can vary greatly depending on the intensity and duration of the thoughts and emotions that create them. So that goes into, like we were saying, the basics of the of a thought form. Now this is the definition that's going to give to, hope y'all can see this. This is coming from the book that I said that you guys are going to get. Look how old this book is. I mean, let me go back up. So this book, it say 2007. That's when they reprinted it, but this is 1912, copyright 1912. The Astral Colors and Thought Forms. And it goes into the human aura, the prana energy, the astral colors, and different things like that. But I want to focus on thought forms. Thought forms are closely related to the general subject of human aura that it mentions of one must naturally lead to the thought of the other. Thought forms are built up of the very material composing the aura and manifests on all the general characteristics thereof, the auric colors. See, a thought form is a peculiar manifestation of mental activity on that astral plane that we talked about. It is more than a powerful disturbance in the body of the human aura, although this is the place of its embodiment or birth is in the ejector world, is formed in the following manner. A person manifests a strong desire, feeling, or idea, which is naturally filled with the dynamic force of his will, our natural willpower. This sets up a strong series of strong vibrations in the body of the aura, which gradually resolve themselves into a strong whirling center of thought force involved in a mass of strongly cohesive auric substance. Now, some of these wordplay and the way they speak on these books, they're a little bit, there's a little bit older, but just on the gist of this, of what they're saying is basically like we manifest these thought forms into our lives, into our human aura by our strong desires, a feeling or an idea, which is naturally filled with the dynamic force of our will, which then creates a thought form that can exist in this reality. See, a thought form may be so strongly charged with prana, which is our life force energy, and so imbued with the mental force of the person that they can actually be thrown off and away from the aura itself and travel in space until they exhaust their initial energy. Now that's deep. In the meantime, exerting influence upon the psychic auras of other persons. Let me read that one more again. Thought forms may be so strongly charged with prana. This is negative or positively charged. Once again, the negativity can be charged, or somebody can hate you so much that they build up a thought form so strong and so much energy behind it of that hate and that jealousy that it can actually harm you. That's why it's important to stand in your power. That's important to build your own aura up, to have a protection field, which we'll go into hopefully here. Well, we got 45 minutes. Okay, bet. But a person, so basically, like it said here, it said that these thought forms can actually leave the original person and go into other people's auric fields. A thought form is not just a strongly manifested thought. It really is such a thought, but surrounded by a body of ethereal substance charged with life force energy, prana, and even carrying with the vibration of the life energy of its creator. Of its creator. It is a child of the mind of its creator. So people can birth thought forms. People can birth these thought forms based on the emotions that they put in it. It's a child of the mind, its creator, and acquires portions of its life essence, so to speak, which abides with it longer or shorter time after its birth. In extreme instances, it can become practically a semi-living elemental force of necessary comparatively short life. Thought form can take on a mind of its own, of its own, you know. So okay, so we're gonna keep going with that part. Emotional poison, that's fascinating. Yes, I'm telling y'all, these old books. Oh my goodness, man, I just be over here like, oh, this where all the jewels at. All the new, the law of attraction, all of the new age stuff is cool, but we got to go further than that. I'm gonna give you guys another. I'm gonna throw this one in there just because I love it. It's called occult psychology. I'm gonna send y'all that one too. I'm gonna send y'all a bunch of stuff because I'm glad y'all here for the first mind alignment gateway class. I appreciate everybody in the building. You're gonna get a lot much more than what you paid for. You're going to get some books. A thought form is more than merely a strongly manifested thought. It's really such a thought, but surrounded by a body of ethereal substance charged with the prana. Okay, so thought forms differ greatly from one another in a matter of shape and general appearance. That's another thing that book shows. It actually shows the type of shapes that certain thought forms can make, certain colors that they have. And it's strange because you can actually it's almost like it's almost like when you see like when someone plays a vibration, they had a sand on there and then it makes these different shapes based on words they speak or sounds they play. That's what this book shows you, just how certain thoughts have a certain energy, and certain things is crazy because even like a thought of jealousy can be like a thought of jealousy looks like a snake. It actually looks like a snake. And it's like, oh, okay, so these things go hand in hand. But okay, neither here nor there. But in considering the subject of projected thought forms, moreover, it must be remembered that they partake of and manifest the same colors does the aura itself. I don't really want to go into that color part because it'll be too much to go into. But see this book, just to kind of go into it a little bit further, we're gonna keep going though. But see some of these chapters that you're gonna get, the auric magnetism. Uh, I really wanted to show where they show what those thought forms look like, and what it was keen to. They went into just basically how it's like the same way you would see someone when they're speaking and those vibrations are coming off of their voice. That's the same way a thought form would look. Like when you see the water boiling and the steam coming up. Thought forms have that same essence where they can leave that person that's been thinking those thoughts and building up that energy and actually go out and bring those very things back to that person or affect people that's in that environment. So that's why it's important to not be in an environment with a bunch of haters because they can really harm you though. I'm keeping it real. But when you know these things, you know what you're supposed to do with that. Um, yeah. So developing the aura, the protective aura. That's the one we're going to go into too, as well. Here, but let me continue on. We got about 30 minutes here. All right. So now that we went into the thought forms, and now we got an understanding of the thought forms, because we know that we are more than the physical body. So esoteric philosophy holds that thoughts produce two effects: a radiating vibration and a floating, colored form of vibration. The lifespan and endurance this is a good point too to understand. The lifespan and endurance of a thought form depends on the nature and intensity of the thought. I know y'all felt someone that loved you so much you could feel it. I know you felt that somebody hates you so much that you could feel it. Some of these people got so much hate in them that they're able to push that towards you. Those imbued with sufficient energy, either through sustained intensity or through ritual. That's where ritual comes into effect. The main thing with rituals is about using your mind and using that mental body and that spiritual body aspect of yourself. Through ritual, it can become anchored on the astral plane and the physical plane. Thought forms radiate out and attract sympathetic essences, thus forming the basis of the occult law of attraction, which holds that a person manifests on the physical plane what he or she thinks on the mental plane. Now we go into, from the thought forms, we go into what we call egregores. We're going to go into egregores. Now, this is a subject that is not talked about much. I mean, you can barely find anything on this subject, really. But if you go into Gnostic teachings, if you go into Rosicrucian teachings, other occult teachings, you will see that they speak on the Watchers. They speak on the demiurge. I'm not trying to be creepy. They speak on the demiurge. They speak on the gods that control this earth. They speak on different things like that. So if you want to get further into that, you can go into Gnosticism, where they also speak on one subject that we'll speak on briefly, is soulless beings, which are known as organic portals. These individuals it's hard to say if they have a soul or they don't have a soul. But a lot of these individuals, I believe, don't have a soul. They can be resonating at such a low vibration, such a low astral level, that they are completely disconnected from their soul, or completely disconnected from the being, the divine, the source of it all. Not the Watchers, not the Egregores, not those things. They're not connected to source any longer. Basically, that's what I mean when I say soulless beings. A lot of people got upset about that when I spoke on that, but we know what it is. And organic portals is one thing that you can look up to go further into the study of soulless beings and how far back those things go. But going into egregores. So now we talked about thought forms. Thought forms are an individual. Now let's talk about these egregores. Egregores, it represents a collective manifestation of thought forms. So this is a bunch of thought forms together that can take a life of their own. Unlike individual thought forms, egregores are shared mental constructs created and sustained by groups, communities, or cultures. These collective entities gain strength through the combined thoughts, emotions, and beliefs of those, or the thoughts and beliefs of the participating individuals. So egregores can develop distinct personalities, characteristics, and even a level of autonomy as they become a shared psychic phenomenon. Some examples of egregores can be found in religious deities, cultural archetypes, or even corporate identities. They thrive on the continued attention, that's the key word, and devotion of their followers. And in turn, they can influence the thoughts and behaviors of the group. So basically, just to break that down real quick, that's basically just showing that egregores are what we have, what happens when a collective amount of people are going in on the same thoughts, or they agree with the same philosophies. They agree with the same, they have the same understanding of reality together. So this could be in a religious group. This could be, and a lot of times with this religious group, they become agents of that egregore. So you could say something about Christianity, and you could almost know exactly what a person is going to say next. You could even get into New Age. You could get into even into some of these positive thoughts on all of these things. Become collective egregore that can affect the people that are thinking those thoughts and using those thoughts. You could eventually become an agent for that particular thought process. And a lot of times they will fight you for those thought process. So that's when we go back into soulless beings. That's when we go back into organic portals. That's when we go back into people can be at a certain level of low vibration. It could even come from a trauma. Somebody could have did something to them that they're floating at such a low vibration that they are literally agents or literally portals for whatever system or whatever egregore negative. Most likely, if you're floating low, it's going to be a negative attachment. Now, none of us are exempt from egregores or anything of that nature. We all are affected by this in certain forms, in certain fashions, but it's up to you to choose which one you're going to roll with, and possibly even create your own. Woo! So we have went into the egregores, we have went into the thought processes, we have went into the spiritual awakening and different levels of existence that you can be on. I didn't know that it was going to be an hour, that it was going to take this, that it was going to go so fast. I had no idea here, because there's a lot of other things I want to get into. But because I know a lot of people came here for the CIA, for the CIA Gateway Project. Now, the reason why I started with, the reason why I even went into the reason why I even went into so many things, just talking about the astral realm and the ethers and different things like that, because when you get into just what they were studying here, you come to find out that you know why they were even looking into these very things here. So, just to kind of give a background story of, and also I'm going to also give you the, I'm going to also be sending you all a document that's going to show the gateway process itself, like the full from uh, from the CIA website. You'll be able to see the declassified information of that, the full one. But it's one here specifically because there's so many different parts to it that there's no way that I could break that down into just one sitting. But I can kind of give you an idea of what they were up to. So it starts with the Monroe Institute. The Monroe Institute was a institute that was pretty much studying, psychic phenomenons, studying remote viewing, studying psychic abilities, studying all these different metaphysical topics. And, the CIA got involved wanting to know where they could actually use this, probably for weapons or anything. So the report was actually declassified. The report was actually declassified in 2003, and the document itself is like 29 page of the actual things that happened. with it, pretty much here. And it's declassified, and you can get that on the particular website there. I'm trying to get my screen back right here. I'm sorry, guys. There we go again with the slowness. Okay, give me one moment here. See what happened when I started talking about the gateway process. You see how it went? My whole screen went black. I'm sorry, guys. Hope y'all can hear me. Can you guys hear me? I hope you guys can hear me. I'm in the matrix again. Every time they get me in the matrix. Oh man, I try to tell y'all, like, yeah. Somebody say they heard their name. They like, hold up, what the bro talking about over here? You know what I'm saying? I'm telling y'all, this happens almost every time. I know I'm not trying to be a conspiracist or anything, because it could be that I got 14 tabs up here, so we're not gonna go into that. But we're going to. I hope I'm not lagging again. I hope I'm up. As soon as I clicked on the website, that's when it went into that state. But let's see if I can get this back though. Thank y'all for your patience and being here with me. Hopefully we'll be able to slide through this pretty easy here. And like I said, I'm going to give you all this information. I'll also give you the document here, and we're going to have this recorded as well. So if you want to go back and check that out, it'll be there for you. But it's not much information on this subject, but one of the particular pages that I like to focus on is when they just go into like remote viewing and solving problems and different things like that. So just kind of go into it again. It's a 29-page document. It was declassified in 2003 by the CIA. They decided to finally bring it out after it was originally done in 1979, I believe it was. Yeah. And it just basically fundamentally the gateway experience is a training system. I'm going to give you also a YouTube link where you can try this yourself, because there's many different phases to this. It's not just one particular. It's not just one particular. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. Okay, can you guys hear me now? I can't even go to the website. I can't even go to the website, guys. It's crazy. Okay, can you guys hear me now? Is it still lagging or not? Let me know. It's frustrating. Okay. All right. Thank you. So I'm gonna share this screen if it allow me to. Let's see. All right. Can you guys see that? I hope you can. Okay. Perfect. All right. So I couldn't go to the website that I was trying to get to. Not sure why. But can you guys see the document here? All right. So just to kind of go into the gateway process once again, just since I can't get to the website, we're just going to read directly off that. We're going to read directly here off of the document itself. All right, so I'm just going to try and read it from here. In order to describe the Monroe Institute technique for achieving altered states of consciousness, the gateway experience, it involves the brain hemisphere synchronization or hemisync. The most effective way to begin is to briefly go over the basic mechanics which underline operations of related methods such as hypnosis, transcendental meditation, and biofeedback. It is easier to effectively describe the gateway and by beginning with a short description of those associated techniques that share some common aspects as we view the gateway experience. One of the things that the gateway experience goes into is hypnosis. They speak on hypnosis, and according to psychologist Ronald Stone in the biomedical field engineering model of Ashtak Benatov, hypnosis is basically a technique which permeates acquisition of direct access to sensory motor cortex and pleasure centers in the lower cerebellum, the emotional center, and the pleasure centers. So we're not going to go into all of that different rhetoric there because that could get very tricky to understanding that. But one of the things that I felt was very interesting here with the gateway process, it goes into the brain waves. And getting into a certain state of consciousness is the way to astral project. It's the way to see outside of yourself, to be able to go into the astral realm and different things of this nature. And it's all about thought vibration, and it's all about the specific brain waves. So we got to take the journey into the different brainwave frequencies in order to even understand how we're able to have these supernatural experiences or metaphysical experiences. The first wave state is the gamma waves. Gamma waves are high frequency brain waves and associated with concentration, problem solving, and heightened cognitivity functioning, engaging in complex tasks such as intense focus, moments of insight, and different things of that nature. That's the gamma waves. Now, with gamma waves, it basically starts at 30 to 40 hertz when your brain wave pattern is resonating at that frequency. Now, see, hold on one second, guys. Okay. All right. So we're at the gamma waves, and then the next one that we're going to go into is that. Hold on. I want to get that before I just get the spewing off. 1 second, guys. All right. So then we go into beta waves. The next one is beta waves. That's the state that we're normally at. This is our waking state. This is when we're alert. This is when we're engaged in thinking. Our brain emits beta waves. They're connected to logical thinking, decision making, and a state of heightened awareness, which is our day to day activities. So that's basically like where we're at most of the time, 13 to 30 hertz. The gamma waves is when we're in an intense moment of being concentrated or being really into the task that's at hand. The next one we have here is the alpha wave. Now, this is the state that we're trying to get to, where this is often associated with like relaxation, in a relaxed state, a calm state. These alpha waves are present during light meditation, daydreaming, or a peaceful wake state. Now, the next one here is the theta waves. The theta waves is the next level of after the alpha waves. The theta waves is when we go into that deep level of meditation. That's that transcendental level. That's that level of going outside of the out of the body, because our minds and our frequencies are lowered at that point. Now, one thing we have to know is that that is the state of being where manifestation occurs at. That is the state of being where we have those out of body experiences, where we have those different transcendental situations that happen in our lives. Theta waves is the state where we can go into that conscious awareness. Now, like I said, I'm going to send you guys the document because I can't go too far into it because I'm telling you, the screen won't even come up any longer. But we'll break it down the best I can here. So theta waves are connected to deep relaxation. Like we were saying, it happens during hypnosis and deep visualization exercises, which making it conducive with the programming of the mind with positive affirmations and intentions for manifestation. So when we get our bodies into these or get our brains into these certain wave states, we slow our brains down, we slow our bodies down, we go into this relaxed state. And at that theta wave, that's before you go directly into that sleep state. That's before you go directly into that sleep state. So at that point, that is where things can be inserted into your subconscious, because now your conscious mind is out of the way. It's out of the way. And because the conscious is out of the way, since the consciousness is out of the way, then we're able to sneak right by the conscious and insert subliminal programming or insert affirmations at that point. When these affirmations are then inserted into our minds, and we can then create new, what we say, thought forms. We can create new thought forms. Frozen again, she say? I hope not. Okay, so different thought forms. Okay, so different thought forms will be created once we go into those, when we don't have a conscious mind coming in there saying, hey, no, you can't do that. Oh no, you can't do that. You don't have the ability to do that. You remember what your mama said, remember what your family said, you can't do that, go. So you can use these techniques to be able to manifest new things into your world, because you're moving that conscious mind out of the way. That's why it's so important to go into these brain states and go into these brain waves. I know someone mentioned how long would it take. Now I've been doing the hemisync, or I've been doing the gateway project, these last couple of weeks. And it's different phases to this. They start off very slowly. With just the basics, where you're pretty much just listening to certain sounds. Once those sounds are then coming in, you then begin to, they have something that they call an energy. And like I'm saying, this is me going off top, guys. I'm going to send you the actual document, but they won't let me pull it up. So this is one of the times, this is where you go into these certain frequencies, you're able to insert new thoughts. You're able to insert new things into your mind. The gateway experience starts with a what they call a energy reservoir box. So the meditation process, it starts with those sounds. You hear different sounds at different frequencies, which then puts you at a different state of mind. Once you go at this different state of mind, or your brain waves begin to slow down, they're playing subliminals in the background to induce this certain level that you go to. Once you go into there, you will begin to hear the man's voice coming out of your right ear. He will then tell you what to do next. You start with what they call an energy reservoir box. And I love this idea because with this box, it's basically showing, telling you to put all your problems in that box before you start that meditation. Put everything that you're worried about at that point in that box. Imagine that box in your mind and place everything that's in that, everything there that you're going through, worried about, place it into that box. You move on to the next part of it, which is what they would call a bubble, a reservoir bubble, where you actually put a protective energy around yourself because you are going into the astral realm. A lot of people have a lot of fear of these different things, such as the astral realm or seeing entities or anything like that. Like we say, these are thought forms that maybe we have even created in our world. They go into another part of it, which is they call it the hemisync. So this technique, it basically synchronizes these brain hemispheres. So the hemisync is achieved when both hemispheres exhibit equal amplitude and frequency in EEG patterns. That's what we discussed with the different brainwave frequencies. So audio techniques developed at the Monroe Institute facilitate this state naturally, allowing individuals to resonate with various levels of universal intuitive knowledge. Now, they call it, they have another analogy where they say, you know, when you in these focused states, you're focusing that thought force energy, you're focusing it yourself. You don't have to use this gateway project to do this, but I'm gonna be honest, this is some very good techniques to use. It's many phases, many focuses, but this is the gist of it. But they use the lamp versus the laser analogy. So the human mind in its natural state is just like an ordinary lamp. You know, it's all over the place. It's chaotic. You just can see the light. It goes wherever. But when you're under the discipline of what they would call hemisync, the mind becomes like a laser beam. It becomes focused and coherent. The coherence amplifies that brain energy that we talked about, likeliness to single like mindfulness, but it amplifies that thought energy that we have and is focused. So the gateway process assumes that with coherent brain frequency and amplitude, the mind can resonate with higher vibrational levels of the universe. Frequency falling response. So where the brain adjusts its brainwave output to match the frequencies, the method then uses beat frequencies to induce states from fully awake to almost sleeping, which then will facilitate the synchronization of the brain. Now, they go into the resonance field. The hard resonance patterns impacting the brain's vibrational response. The body is in tuned vibrational state, resonates with the earth state, facilitating a form of telepathic signal transmission. So in simpler forms, when your brain is focused, when your hemispheres are matching, when you're at a certain frequency, you are then able to get downloads, spiritual downloads from the ethers, from those thought forms that are floating in the air. When you're focused and when you have an intent, you won't even worry about the negativity that may be coming up during this time. By tuning the body to resonate with the surrounding gateway tapes, and the gateway tapes encourage building up the body's energy field. This synchronization with the environment provokes the movement of consciousness beyond the body and enhances bodily energy levels for a potential out of body experience. Then they go into it where they go into basically like the enhancing of the of that of that with the binaural beats and different things like that. Um, it just continues on from that point. I know we're coming up on almost 9:30 here, so I'm gonna try and wrap this up for you guys. But man, I wish I had about another 30 minutes with y'all without this all of this happening. But I'm going to kind of let the floor be open for someone that, because we went over a lot, just to kind of a recap of what we went over thus far. We discussed the spiritual awakening. We discussed things that you may go through. We discussed that you're going to have a heightened sense of awareness. Your senses may be amplified and heightened. Your spiritual gifts may be heightened and even more now that you have an even deeper understanding of maybe how this is working. How are you picking up on people's thoughts? I've seen a lot of people comment on these things about these things that they looked into, because that what I just told you is just basically like the gateway process. That's the process of having the out of body experience. That's the process of going into a meditative state where you can get the spiritual downloads. But they studied many other things than just the just this actual gateway experience. The gateway experience comes from the Monroe Institute by Robert Monroe, and he has a book called Journey of Souls you should check out. But yeah, they went into they even went into other studies of with the CIA's certain things about the spiritual gifts even further. The Stargate, if you look into like the Stargate projects where they studied psychics. They studied the different clairs, so clairvoyance. The term we all recognize the most is clairvoyance, which is pretty much means clear vision, a psychic vision in terms used to describe the way that those who are clairvoyant receives messages. Clairaudience means that you have clear hearing. You may hear it in meditation. You may hear a voice speaking to you, or you may hear other sounds such as music in the spiritual realm. These sounds have been labeled as astral sounds as they originate in the astral realm. Clairsentience means the clear feeling is quite often associated with your intuition. And these are all things that have been studied. And it goes into it in some of these books that I'm sending you. A lot of people that say they are empaths, they are known for being clairsentient. Clear cognitives, cognizance means a clear knowing. It's the ability to know something without a physical explanation to why you know it. And like I said, a lot of these things are going to become common. A lot of y'all are going to be able to do these things. There are a lot of people that have these clairaudient abilities or these abilities. They may get like spiritual downloads, and these techniques that I went over in these different gateway projects and things like that, and meditation really help you to be able to hone these things. It's even a clear alliance, and that's what it means clear smelling. You may pick up a fragrance, or you may smell a perfume of someone that passed on. You may smell your grandfather's you don't know, you might have smoked cigars or drunk some liquor. You might smell it out of nowhere. That might be a sign of some of the gifts you have. But if anyone, if you want to stick around, I don't have no set time for this, but if I really wanted to get into some question and answers, and maybe you all being able to, say your piece or what you have to say about this. Do we got any questions, or anybody want to build on this or break some things down? I'm not the only one that knows this information, I know. So if you want to say something, let it be known, or forever hold your peace. Greetings. I'm glad someone spoke. Hey,
Greetings.
what's going on? I'm tired over here. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. How are you tonight?
How are you? That's what's up. I'm pretty good. Um,
Yeah.
well, I got two things. Uh, the first one is when you were saying so above and so below, and you're talking in the
Mhm.
aspect of what the
Yeah,
spiritual
when
realm.
you explain
Realm
as
is that
above,
what you're
so
saying?
below, is basically saying the same things that's happening in the cosmos have a direct effect on our reality. One of my best understandings of it, just from what I've um, understood, it just goes into like the things that's happening on the Earth is also happening on the astral level. Yeah, on the astral level.
Happening within. Well, yeah, like when you say, well, I know what you're talking about. And also, like when you say so above, you could take it either celestial or either you could take it on the earth, but you got
Mm,
within the earth because there are people within the earth.
mm.
And those are our ancestors.
Go
They,
in, go in.
God, I can go real deep with
I
it. You know
love
what I'm
it.
saying?
I
But
love it.
I'm not. But oh,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, so above is the sky, celestial, and so below, what they'll say is hell, but it's not. You got people that lives within the earth. Those are our ancestors.
Mm.
So, which they would say Area 51, but
Wait,
it goes
yeah,
deep. It
I'm
goes
weak.
way deep. You know. So, it go deep. Yeah, and yeah, I'm talking about like
Hmm.
Nibiru or like one of the ships when it crashed. They thought that they hit something or something was hitting them, but it wasn't.
Mm.
They
Mm.
crashed into something and, they built like themselves within. So if you find an old map, I found one, because you got water within the earth.
Yeah.
That's where your spring water come from, well water. They can't charge
Mm.
you for that. You see what I'm saying? You got heat, it's tropical because it's heat within the earth. That's why they don't want you to, like, it's a hole in the earth. You can't, okay, if we on the outside, say like
Hmm.
we in a ship or something, and we or a plane, and we see this hole. You
Mm.
cannot go in it. You cannot even take a direct picture to go within that because those are ancestors. So what they say, aliens and blah 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 blah. It's wars
Mm.
within the earth, but it is tropics, air, all of that. That's why they're digging,
Mm.
but
I'm
they
with
chase
you. I'm
them
with
out of
you.
there.
That's a good
You see
perspective.
what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I wanted to elaborate on that a little bit. And also I wanted to elaborate on like when you were saying like we can hear stuff, right? Well, I can't even
Hmm.
tell you what dimension I'm in because I see things totally different. I mean, I can't tell you, I can't explain it to you, but the best way
Yeah.
is I have That's So
Walk away.
Raven experiences. You see what I'm saying? It's like I could be walking anywhere
Yeah.
and something would go and I see it. You know what I'm saying? And then boom, I'm coming back. But like my husband died July 28th. He came and got my mother exact
Hmm.
the 28th, 5 months apart. So, like
Yeah.
I just took I'm in South Carolina, but I'm originally from Ohio, Youngstown. So anyhow, but I live in Greenville, South Carolina. But anyhow, I sent my mother home. It took a minute to get her home,
Yeah.
not due to money, but it's just all kinds of crazy stuff to get her shipped home. So anyhow, when I went to go see my mother, me and my daughter and my granddaughter, um, I seen her laying in the casket, you know, with what she had on, but she didn't have all her trinkets that she needed that we were to bring her jewelry to put on her. When I went to see my mother, her hair was short and I wanted it pressed and curled, but my cousin couldn't do it because it kept going back to its natural state. My mother went back to her natural state. All she could do was give her a nice fade. But as I was going close to my mother, matter of fact, when I hit the door, and I'm going to say I'm about 15, 20 feet away from her, right? About 15 feet, I can hear the drums. Nobody else can hear it but me. I can hear it. She was all right. They was bringing her on in like a ceremony. You know what I'm saying? And the closer I got, the more I heard it. So I knew she was all right. I sent my husband, like I had him protected, and I'm gonna send you a picture. When he was in the hospital and he was still alert and everything like that, he died from cancer too, right? So I went to him. The ancestors told me to tell him, go tell your husband he got to make it right. Because when you do wrong, I don't care how long ago it was, if you rob somebody of $500, you be in the grocery store, you know that was wrong. You try to make it right when you're growing. You know what I'm saying? You make it right. Buy somebody else some groceries
That's right.
of that amount or more. You balancing the scales. So yeah, so therefore I told my husband, I said, I don't care what you did in your life, make it right. I say the ancestors told me to tell you this, make it right. And then I prayed over my husband and blah 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 blah. A couple days later, he's slipping out. You know, matter of fact, he wanted to be intubated. I was rubbing his arm, and like a couple weeks before, they busted a vessel in his arm, so it was a big bruise in the middle
Yeah.
of his arm where you the main vein at on both of them. I promise you, when I send you this picture, you're gonna trip. But I knew he was all right. My
Mm,
husband had got the eye of horse.
mm,
I brought him on in his arm, and I tripped. You know what I'm saying? I was like,
mm.
oh shit. Oops, excuse me, y'all. But I was like, oh shoot. And I showed his son, I showed his son's mother, you know, so I still have it. So I knew my husband was all right. The day my mother died, I had my in laws, my father in law pray, because I can only go so far. She needed somebody to spoke her language, which was Jesus. I couldn't do it. So when he prayed for her and everything, and you know, she squares her hands, stuff like that, and blah blah blah. We go outside, they getting ready to go. It was a big hawk flying around. First we seen the shadow. And I looked at my mother-in-law, I said, you see that? She said, yeah. I looked up. The
Love it.
bird, I said, there you go.
That's real.
He coming to get her.
And and
She all
and I
right.
and I and I believe in that 100% as far as it goes.
Yeah.
And that's what I think a lot of us are beginning to tap into. We they told us it was more more people have these type of stories than, no, I ain't never heard anything. I ain't never had a paranormal experience. So I think like a lot of us are getting more in tune, and we're searching and we're finding that we have these abilities. So you definitely spoke on some things that I'm very familiar with, especially when it goes into them going to that other side or that next realm, or even with the prayer, even in Jesus, like you said, it spoke their language. It's their
Mm-hmm.
vibration that they're on at that point. And I was going to, I just
Right.
like I
Yeah.
that's why I say I was in the like near death experiences, because if you start looking at a lot of those videos and a lot of those people speaking, they'll give you a broader perspective of your reality, because they've into that other side. I'm pretty sure some of us even experience that. A lot of us that have
Right.
these abilities probably been through, times where you may have almost died, or paranormal activities, or knowing things like you say, that's so Raven, having visions. And I think the more we get in tune with this, and the more we look into it and get out of the systematic way of thinking, I think these will be average things that the average person can do. I really do believe that. And I'm glad you shared that. And the more we share it, the more other people will be able to say, hey, that happened to me too. Like the video I posted at like 300,000 views, and then it had like
Yeah.
thousands of comments of people having paranormal experiences. I heard my father, you know. Yet that's the main thing. Fear is what keeps us
And don't
there.
be
And that's
afraid
why I
of
try to
it.
break down some of these like thought forms and entities, and things like that, because it's not that scary once you have an understanding of what it is. Anything foreign will be scary when you don't have any knowledge of it. I thank you.
Right, right. Because we are powerful people. We are powerful. And like I could just wave my hand across the phone sometime. I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
learn how to work it, but
That's your
I could just
that's your
move the
that's
screen
that's what we go back into, that
without
energy
touching it.
field, like we were discussing,
Yeah.
with the resonance field and our own resonance field, and how we can pick up
Right.
other. You could feel what a person is, level people are vibrating on, especially if you're in tune. You can feel like, oh, this person very negative, or this person is even some people, it's like, no, they evil. This person evil, like my
Yep.
stomach dropped, or I'm
Yeah.
sweating being around you, bro. I gotta
Yeah.
leave this situation, and then a lot of environments we go into have
Yeah.
been traumatic experiences. So fragments still exist there. Those thought forms, like you say, it still has an emotional charge that could be in that room or in that environment that we walk in. And if you're sensitive, you'll pick up on that. And I think it's just like any other muscle. You gotta move your spiritual. You gotta work your spiritual muscles. You gotta get in tune. You're gonna know. I thank you. I thank you though for expressing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice meeting you too as well. What you say your name was
You're
again? I'm
welcome.
sorry.
Nice meeting you,
Vaughn. Okay. Nice, Vaughn. Vostet. I
Vaughn,
like that.
VON, aka
Vostet
Bostet.
with a B.
No, Bostet.
Okay. Oh,
Bastet.
Bosset. Okay.
Bastet.
Okay.
That's one of the deities.
Okay. I
The
got you.
you got Bastet and Hathor, yeah.
I love it.
And I feel as though I'm her. Yeah. I
Nice
don't come
meeting you
back as
too.
her.
Nice meeting you. Thanks for sharing.
All right.
Anybody else
Nice
got
meeting you.
any stories or anything? I see y'all still hanging out with me. It's 9:37. Y'all still here, so I appreciate y'all. But if you got anything else you want to say, or a story you want to share, or questions you have for me, let me know now. Or otherwise, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. And I'm going to make sure I email you all this information. I had no clue that I was going to take this long to explain it. If I had, because I would have went a little bit further into the Gateway Project. I hope I ain't let y'all down with not going into it in further detail. But I'm going to give you the full document, as well as the YouTube where you can actually try it yourself. But any questions or anything y'all want to go into? So I'm assuming we good. No need to be. No, it's
Scared. Don't be
but as
scared.
long as you guys are satisfied with the information, um, a reputable place to order crystals and gems. Honestly, I don't. I don't know. Somebody in the chat might be able to help them out with that. Do you have a reputable place? I would say this. What I would say. This is my idea. This is what I would do. See, we stay near the mines in Georgia. And what I want to do is I want to go out there to the actual mines, and you can go out there and you can dig and you can find your own crystals. Oh, you're in Texas. It's probably there in Texas as well. But Yeah, anywhere but I would suggest to get your own. Go straight into the ground. Go to some of those places, and you'll find all kind of different stones. Um, I know. Let me see online. No, I really don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't. I don't. But I would say go get your own. Go straight to the actual mine and dig it up. They'll give you the pitchfork. You know, they'll give you the pitchfork and everything, and whatever you find is special to you. So I would say to do that. I would say to try that way instead of not knowing if someone is coming with the real legit crystals and everything. I would go straight to the source. Yep, yep. Yeah, go ahead.
I
Go ahead.
got
Come
one
on.
more thing to say before we go because I got to go. Um, Everybody on here, please keep your eyes open because there's a spiritual war out here and a political war. Spiritual, look out for them witches. They're coming out now. One side you will see like they have purple crystal balls, black fingernails or one black fingernail, the piercings, the tattoos, especially of a snake, uh, um, just like the color purple, like a lavender purple. If you see them like dressing in black or purple or gothic, very gothic, those are your witches and warlocks. Because remember, Zeus had, I think I want to say, 115 wives and 140 children. So it's a lot of these little demons out running around out here. And watch who touch you because they can attach themselves and alter because we all have walk-ins hovering over our head, waiting for the perfect time for a little crack just to get in and alter your character. So be vigilant with your eyes and watch these things and who touch you and who come into your home. Make sure you stay dressed as far as like something happened here. Oh, make sure you wear your onks, stay dressed. Cause it's really serious out here. It ain't no joke. And they out to get us. So you got to
Well, I
stay
thank you for
dressed.
that, and that's
That's
real.
all I
That's
got to
real.
say. I'm done.
And I thank everyone for coming out and having any questions and supporting me in this journey. I'm going to have a lot more of these. If you think I should have a lot more, let me know. You can hit me on this chat right here, or you can send me an inbox if you got some more questions. But I think I'm going to keep this going. If you guys enjoyed it, let me know. But yeah, but like she was saying just then, though, yeah, it is important to be spiritually protected. And I hope if you enjoy this, that might be my next focus. Now that you know that you got these gifts, now that you know that you have, you exist on many levels, we do have to stay strapped. We do have to stay strapped. It's very important. The same way you have to protect your physical body, you sometimes have to fight and protect your astral body. So that's very important. And just like it was said, like she was saying, certain people do rituals and things like that. But if your energy up high enough, that ritual is going to bounce off of you and go straight back to the sender. And that's what our goal is. Taiki, you say you would like that one? I'm going to have some more. Hey, hold up, hold up. Oh, yeah, it's way further than black and white, way further than that. It can be anybody. And that's what I learned about on social media and like I said, a lot of people are affected by egregores. A lot of people are affected by their collective thoughts. A lot of people are, just moving for other entities. They're organic portals. And we got to be able to recognize when they're in our face. And it doesn't have a color to it. It doesn't have a race to it. It doesn't have a culture to it. It's a vibration. It's an energy. And I've run into a lot, any color, you know. So I'm past that. Thank you. I'm sorry you can't get the mic. I'm sorry you can't get the mic right, but yeah, man, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this so much, and I'm hot. Y'all got me sweating. Oh yeah, like I said, I'm gonna send you guys the Thought Forms book. This probably in the morning. I'm about to lay down, but this is because I feel like once you put out this much information, you see how they wouldn't even let me pull up certain websites. Once you put out this certain amount of information, I have to sit with myself, get my energy back right, because it was a lot. But yeah, we're gonna do this more often, and I think I'm gonna make this a monthly thing. This is a great hour. I agree. I'm sorry I couldn't go into shadow work, so that's why I think the next one needs to be shadow work and spiritual protection. And if you give me a chance, I'll give y'all some dates and I'll time it better, and we'll have better audio, different things like that. Y'all with the class membership, love it. Much love to you all. I hope everybody have a great rest of your night. I hope this information helped y'all. And I promise y'all I'm going to do another event. I promise y'all I'm going to break this down again because y'all got me hyped. And I'm so glad I found the people that want to hear this. I'll talk. Ask my lady. I will talk all day long about these type of topics. Nice to meet you all. That's right. No lingering energy. No, whatever I felt or before this or anything. This went very smoothly. And try to get a better speeds here and maybe work on the meditation a little bit more with my lady there. But this was lovely. And so I'll email you all when the next event coming, and I'm gonna also email you the books. Look for that possibly in the morning here with the thought vibrations and the human auric field, and also the oh yeah, and the recording. Yep, that's right, Robbie. We got a recording. It's recording now still. I hope it goes through smoothly. And yeah. That's about all I got for you all. Salute. Thank you for being here. And so it is. You all have a blessed one or a great one. Thank you. Gratitude.
You.